woods had never been so silent. A thick, choking fog hung over the path as the wind whispered in jagged gusts, its icy fingers reaching between the trees. Beneath the gloom, something stirred. A child's small shoe, half buried in the soil, lay discarded in the mud. The remains of what once was a person. Blood soaked the ground, pooling like an oil stain beneath the trees. The forest had been waiting for this moment. Bedburg had never been a peaceful town, but in the year 1589, the unease took root like an invasive vine. The whispers began, the dark tales of a wolf that walked on two legs, that hunted not just animals, but children, women, and anyone who ventured too close to the edge of the forest. One by one, the bodies appeared. Some were torn apart beyond recognition. Others simply vanished, leaving only the traces of a nightmare too large for any human mind to comprehend. And then they saw it. The beast. A towering, hellish wolf with glowing red eyes, its massive form shifting through the trees like a shadow, come to life. Its strength was unnatural. No weapon could stop it. The hunters closed in. The beast snarled, raising its claws high. But just as they drew closer, the beast vanished, disappearing into thin air, leaving nothing but the stench of death in its wake. And in its place stood Peter Stumpp, a man, well, a man in name only. The creature had been him, and now the nightmare was about to begin. The transformation had begun long before that fateful night. Peter had always been a quiet man, but a man who understood fear and how to use it. He had known the stories since he was a boy, stories whispered around fires about the creatures that lurked beyond the reach of light. But what Peter learned was far worse. The devil had come to him at the age of 12, and with him a gift, a belt. A cursed belt that granted power, immense power, the kind that turns a man into a wolf. They broke him. Under the unrelenting pain of the torture, Peter Stumpp confessed to his dark pact. The devil had promised him strength and savagery in exchange for his soul, and Peter had taken it without hesitation. He confessed to the unspeakable. 14 children devoured, 2 pregnant women ripped apart, their unborn babies consumed. And worse, so much worse, his own flesh and blood, his daughter, and the succubus who had come to him in the night, a creature sent by Satan to feed on his darkest desires. The town could scarcely believe what they had heard. The flames at the execution fire burned high into the cold night sky, casting twisted shadows against the faces of the gathered crowd. Peter Stumpp's body was consumed by the fire, but even then a part of him, something far darker, remained. And Sybil, his daughter, the one who had suffered the most, was not spared. The town sealed her fate as the executioner's blade fell. Her soul was claimed as the last link to her father's curse, and the forest remained silent. The years passed. The village of Bedburg fell into decay, the forest growing thicker with each passing day. But the curse, it never truly left. Every generation feels its pull, every full moon, the villagers whisper of a dark presence lingering just outside their doors, and the children who still play in the woods never stray too far. In 1632, a monk traveled to Bedburg, his journal filled with tales of the beast, the wolf that stalked the village and those who dared walk its path, was found years later, its final entry stained with blood, the ink smeared as though the hand that had written it had been dragged away. The story didn't die with Peter. It grew, fed by fear, nurtured in the darkness, and it would find its way to the next. Some say that the succubus, the one who had visited Peter Stumpp in the night, still walks the earth. A temptation in the shadows, a whisper in the dark, promising power and lust in exchange for a soul bound to the darkness forever. She is no longer just a demon, but a harbinger, a reminder of the curse that is carried, not just by the men of the Stumpp bloodline, but by all who are foolish enough to seek what cannot be returned. It was in 2003 that Lucas Stein came to Bedburg. He had no idea what he was searching for, but the pull was undeniable. The name Stumpp had haunted him in dreams. His grandmother's words echoed like a prophecy. "You're not a Stein, you're a Stumpp." Lucas didn't think much of it at first, but as he walked the old streets, as the town seemed to close in around him, the unease settled deep into his bones. Lucas had traced his family tree to the crypt beneath the old church. The walls seemed to whisper, the air thick with a weight he couldn't explain. In the darkness, buried beneath centuries of dust and bone, Lucas found the belt. He had read about it. He had heard the tales, but nothing prepared him for the surge of power that filled him when he wrapped it around his waist. It wanted him, and the darkness, it wanted him too. That night, Lucas stood under the full moon, feeling something strange stirring inside him. He thought it was fear, but it was more. It was hunger. And when he looked at his hands, the fingers, they were changing, shifting, lengthening. The transformation had begun. The following day, the reports came in. A family camping on the outskirts of Bedburg had been torn apart. Their bodies were unrecognizable. The police didn't know what to make of it. No footprints, no sign of a beast, only blood everywhere. But Lucas knew. He had seen it in his dreams. He had felt the hunger. Lucas tried to take the belt off, but it wouldn't come. It was as if it had fused with his skin, and as the full moon rose, his reflection in the mirror distorted. He was becoming something else. The forest outside Bedburg waits for its next visitor. The belt still lies in hiding, a curse that seeks out the weak, and when the time is right, it will call. Lucas Stein is gone, but the darkness, it remains. And the wolves that haunt these woods will never stop hunting. The belt waits somewhere, always. And when you hear the whispers, it will be too late. If you enjoyed this story and want more chilling legends and terrifying tales, make sure to like this video. It really helps us out. You can also click on our Ultimate Werewolf playlist to watch more horror and cryptid stories. The link is in the description below. And if you love horror, folklore, and unexplained mysteries, subscribe to the channel and join our growing community of fear seekers. But don't stop there. Turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon so you never miss a new story. Because in the world of horror, the scariest things happen when you least expect them. And trust me, you don't want to be left in the dark. Welcome to the darkness.